Because of Mr. Terupt by Buyea, continuing Part 2, page 242. June. Jessica. Final Act, Scene 1. Welcome to the last day of school, where there's music and movies and games, singing and laughing and smiles all around, cakes and cookies and fun for everyone. At least this is what the last day of school is supposed to encompass. Ours didn't. Crying wasn't anything I'd ever experienced on any last day of school. But crying was what I felt like doing, and I know I wasn't the only one. We had held tremendous hope for our teacher to be with us by the end of the school year, but he wasn't. I kept worrying about the Mr. Terupt I don't know. I've thought a lot about it since that day in the waiting room. Everyone likes Mr. Terupt, but nobody is that close to him, except for Miss Newberry. But even she hopes to get closer. Part of me thinks that it's not just him they're all concerned about, but us too, because they know we're the ones who are really close to him. But how can I even say that or think that when I don't truly know him? Maybe it's because it doesn't matter how well we know him. We love him. I haven't talked to anyone else about this, not even my mom. I want to, but what's the point? He's not here. Mr. Terupt didn't make it. Alexia. I went to see Teach last week, and the nurses said they were doing something and that I had to come back. I was mad, but I didn't really think anything was up. Now I'm beginning to wonder if maybe something's going on. Mrs. Williams and Ms. Newberry are definitely acting strange. Mrs. Williams is way too perky, humming to herself and talking with silent nods to Ms. Newberry, who's poking her head into our room one too many times today. I'm beginning to wonder if Teach woke up, and they've been keeping it a secret so that they can surprise us. I'm telling you, something's up. Danielle. Dear God, I don't want to be mad at you, but I am. You haven't listened to my prayers. If you had, Mr. Terupt would be here. We need him. Why didn't you give him back to us? Anna. Mrs. Williams makes me mad. Our whole class is feeling terrible, except for her. She seems happy, walking around with that bounce in her step. I even heard her humming at one point, but she quickly stopped when she realized I had noticed. Is she really that happy to get this year over with? Then the thought hit me. Does she know something that we don't? Luke. No, Mr. Terupt. Suddenly things changed drastically for me. I'd kept believing that he was badly hurt and would recover, but now that the year is over, the thought of him not making it seems very real. I'm scared. Jeffrey. I don't know what's going on with Mrs. Williams, but I want to punch her. This is the worst day of the year, and I see her wink at Anna. What's the matter with you? I want to scream at her. I don't care if she's the principal. In case you didn't notice, Terupt's going to die. I want to yell that at her too. But I keep all my anger inside. Don't you dare wink at me, lady. Jessica. Final Act, Scene 2. All day long I fought back tears, and now tears streamed down my face. I couldn't believe it. Mr. Terupt made it. He was here. He was okay. We rushed out of our seats, our bodies pressed together in a giant class hug. I missed you, he said. We missed you too, we shouted. I love you guys, he said, bending down to our level. He looked at each one of us and hugged us one by one. He hugged me. I love you, Mr. Terupt, I said. The words danced out of my mouth. I love you too, Jessica. We hugged some more. And then Mr. Terupt spotted Peter. Peter hadn't been part of the hug. He was still sitting in his seat, probably too scared to move, too frightened to think what Mr. Terupt might do or say to him. Mr. Terupt stood up and walked over to Peter. We watched, and he taught us like he did every day we were with him. He showed us how to forgive. Luke. Mrs. Williams spoke up. Boys and girls, I do have one announcement before I leave you with your teacher. She smiled. The school board has decided that next year will be an experimental year. We're going to try looping in one of the classroom. What's that? Anna asked. Looping is when a class and the teacher move on to the next grade together, Mrs. Williams said. It got quiet fast. Real quiet. Hold your breath quiet. Was everybody wondering the same thing? I looked around. Jessica smiled and nodded at me. Boys and girls, next year your class will be looping, Mrs. Williams said. With Mr. Terupt? Anna asked. Yes, Mr. Terupt answered. We jumped and screamed and hooted and hollered. I saw Mrs. Williams heading toward the door. I ran over to her. Mrs. Williams, I said, as she was about to leave. She turned around. Yes, Luke? Thank you, I said. Then I felt a sudden quietness behind me. The rest of my class stopped and took notice of Mrs. Williams. Thank you, Mrs. Williams, the voices called. She looked at Mr. Terupt. I was close enough to hear her say, There's magic in this room with you here, Mr. Terupt. Magic. She hugged him and left. Alexia. Teach made it. He showed up on the last day with no warning. It was the biggest surprise ever. Everyone ran over and hugged him. Then Teach went over and hugged Peter. I liked Teach so much when he did that. It made me think of the day he took me out in the hall. Teach knew how to be nice. He didn't say one thing and do another. Not Teach. After things calmed down, I went up to him. I've being nice now, Teach, I said. You'd be proud. You've always been nice, Lex, he said. You've just figured out how to show it. But you're right. I'm very proud of you. I can't wait till next year, I said. I can't wait either. I missed you. Then I hugged Teach again. I love you, Teach, I said. I love you too. And now it's wait till next year. And I can't.